Imagine, if you will, that your innermost being possesses the precise knowledge of your passing, sensing it not just months, but perhaps even years ahead of time. Consider the possibility that the cosmos has been gently transmitting delicate indications, guiding you towards the most profound journey your essence will undertake. And what if a highly recognized clairvoyant from the United States uncovered 5 distinct indications that the moment of departure draws near? These are not portents of illness or misadventure, but rather signals of your spirit preparing itself for its journey back to its true origin. We are speaking of profound insights that transcend typical medical assessments, that extend past what physicians can observe, and surpass current scientific comprehension of consciousness during the final moments. For these revelations suggest that the act of transitioning is not merely an event that befalls you, but rather a process your soul actively orchestrates and readies itself for. And with this understanding, if you are aware of what to seek, you can discern when this profound preparation has truly commenced. Let it be clear, this discussion is not intended to incite apprehension, nor is it meant to fuel a dark curiosity. Our discussion today centers on comprehending the deepest transformation awaiting every individual, and how an awareness of its indicators can profoundly reshape your current existence. Therefore, if you've ever contemplated if there's an existence beyond the mere cessation of a pulse, if you've pondered whether awareness truly dissipates as the physical form declines, or if you've sensed that enigmatic draw towards a higher state, please remain with me. For the insights we are about to explore could alter not only your perception of this ultimate journey, but also how you embrace each precious moment remaining in your life. This universal apprehension. Allow me to pose a question that might stir a slight unease within you. When was the most recent occasion you genuinely reflected upon your own departure from this world? Not as an abstract notion, nor a philosophical construct, but as the tangible truth that one day, the consciousness you currently inhabit will encounter its final profound transformation. Perhaps these thoughts are often gently set aside. Perhaps these thoughts gently surface in tranquil moments, late at night when slumber eludes you, or during periods of ill health, or upon the departure of a loved one. You might then experience a subtle wave of apprehension, that profound sense of existential uncertainty that softly asks, could this truly be the extent of it all? Rest assured, you are not alone in experiencing such reflections. The act of passing is the singular experience that binds every individual who has ever walked this earth. Nonetheless, it persists as the most profound enigma confronting us. We are capable of preparing for nearly every other aspect of life: shifts in our professional path, evolving connections, financial obstacles. Yet, when it comes to passing, the majority of us dwell in a state of quiet denial, harboring the belief that if we simply avoid contemplating it, it will, by some means, not come to pass. But what if this very approach is inadvertently depriving you of something invaluable? Imagine if comprehending the indicators of life's conclusion, not to instill fear, but to foster understanding, could actually furnish you with the most profound readiness for the path that lies ahead. For here lies a truth that often goes unacknowledged by many. Drawing from timeless spiritual insights and contemporary studies of awareness, the act of transitioning is not a sudden, forceful end to existence. Instead, it's a meticulously planned journey your spirit starts getting ready for much earlier than your physical self exhibits any decline. Should you learn to interpret the subtle indicators, you can deliberately engage in this readiness, rather than finding yourself unprepared. If this concept resonates with you, if you are prepared to perceive this transition not as an adversary but as a profound instructor, please indicate your interest immediately, for the insights we are about to uncover demand bravery. It asks you to confront the single inescapable truth that links every human life. By pressing that like button, you signal your readiness for this profound discussion. The path to deeper understanding commences. However, before we delve into these 5 significant indicators, it's essential to grasp a core principle regarding awareness and the act of passing, which will fundamentally alter your current perceptions. A common belief holds that our awareness originates within the brain. There is a common belief that when the brain ceases to operate, our personal awareness simply concludes, much like a lamp being gently switched off. But what if this perspective were inverted? What if consciousness itself is the fundamental reality and the brain is merely its fleeting instrument? Imagine if awareness existed independently of the physical form, and the moment of passing were actually the instant when consciousness expands once more into its inherent state. This isn't just a matter of philosophical contemplation. It aligns with what thousands of profound near-passing experiences suggest. It resonates with the teachings ancient wisdom traditions have shared across millennia, and it is further illuminated by a deeper comprehension of these very signs of transition. Your soul, that core essence of conscious being that defines you, does not perish when your physical body falters. Instead, it undergoes a transformation. It broadens. It returns to a mode of existence that is, in truth, more natural than physical embodiment. However, here lies the pivotal insight. This profound transition does not commence at the precise moment of physical departure. The journey commences long before, as your spirit gently disentangles itself from worldly connections, getting ready to merge back into pure awareness. Imagine it like a chrysalis on the brink of releasing a butterfly. This profound metamorphosis is not an immediate event. Instead, it involves a careful procedure, a period of readiness, a gentle progression from one existence to the next. Throughout this preparatory phase, your inner self transmits messages, not only to your physical form, but also to your inner knowing. These are indications that the grand shift is commencing. They serve as invitations to actively engage in the most significant passage you will ever undertake. There is no cause for alarm with these signs. Rather, they are meant to be acknowledged, respected, and cooperated with. For when you grasp the unfolding events, when you perceive the readying stage with clarity, you can embrace the departure not as one who succumbs, but as an aware partner in your own spiritual unfolding. The initial indicator, the gentle call towards aloneness. This primary signal, indicating your spirit's readiness for transformation, is delicate yet undeniable. When you learn to identify it, a profound, unexplainable inclination towards quiet seclusion begins to awaken within you. This is not sadness, nor an aversion to others, nor a retreat stemming from discomfort or sickness. No, this sensation is distinct. It is a hallowed turning within, an impulse for personal time that possesses an almost spiritual essence. Consider how often animals, as they near the end of their lives, instinctively seek out solitary places. They locate a serene spot, distant from the clamor and routines of everyday existence, and direct their focus internally. Their intention is not to conceal themselves or to endure hardship in isolation. Rather, it involves tapping into a more profound level of awareness, which necessitates both stillness and room to breathe. A similar phenomenon unfolds for human spirits when they commence their preparation for significant change. You might observe yourself declining social engagements you would typically embrace, not due to a lack of affection for those around you, but because an inner imperative is drawing your focus. You might sense an inclination to dedicate hours to quiet contemplation, or discover yourself naturally creating more room between your inner world and the demands of daily existence. This gentle call towards stillness serves a significant purpose. It is your soul's method of initiating the process of letting go of external attachments. It actively forms the inner capacity required for the profound release that accompanies significant transitions. Yet, there is a beautiful aspect to recognizing this particular sign. When you comprehend what is unfolding, instead of resisting this impulse or experiencing guilt about it, you can choose to honor its presence. You are able to consciously carve out space for this unfolding inner depth. You can utilize this period for introspection, for resolving any lingering emotional matters, and for strengthening your connection to what truly holds importance in your life. Consider this thought for a moment. When was the last occasion you felt a genuine inclination towards quiet seclusion? Not a forced separation, but an authentic desire to be alone with your thoughts, your emotions, and your deeper essence. Should you be feeling this internal draw at this very moment, or perhaps you've observed it in a cherished individual, I invite you to share your thoughts below. Simply type the word solitude if this rings true for your own experience, for acknowledging this particular phenomenon serves as the initial stride towards grasping the profound insight inherent in your spirit's unfolding journey. Moving to the second indication, we find the gentle loosening of ties. This subsequent marker holds even greater depth, frequently catching individuals by surprise upon its initial manifestation. You start to effortlessly release connections that, at one time, appeared fundamental to who you believed yourself to be. This particular shift does not occur instantaneously. Instead, it represents a slow unfolding, potentially spanning many months or even several years. However, once this transformation commences, its presence becomes undeniably clear. You may observe a diminishing interest in material items that previously held significant importance in your life. The collection you diligently built over years, the costly items you strive to acquire, the material signs of success that once shaped your identity, they begin to feel hollow and unfulfilling. But this experience extends deeper than mere physical possessions. You might perceive old resentments becoming irrelevant. Discussions that once depleted your energy now seem insignificant and minor. The desire to be right, to protect your self-importance, to uphold certain impressions of yourself. These inner urges slowly dissolve. Even positive attachments begin to loosen their grip. Ambitions that once drove you may lose their power. Future plans that once thrilled you might now feel less captivating. This isn't born of despondency or a giving up on life, but rather an inner wisdom recognizing that these outward aspects are not your true self. This signifies your soul's awakening to recall its genuine essence. For this is what transpires when awareness prepares to extend past its physical form. A deeper part of you commences redirecting its energy from fleeting roles and connections tied only to this present life. It starts to forge a new bond with the timeless, the core elements, those aspects that journey with you past the material plane. What then are these enduring qualities? Love, understanding, kindness, togetherness, the expansion of one's own awareness. You may discover a heightened curiosity for these intrinsic traits and a lessening preoccupation with the outward spectacles that once appeared so significant. You might sense an inclination towards mending connections instead of triumphing in debates, towards manifesting affection instead of gathering accomplishments, towards grasping others' perspectives rather than seeking your own validation. This is the spirit's innate method of preparing for its next phase, by concentrating on that which truly possesses worth, the very essence you will carry as the physical reality gently recedes. However, this is where the profound transformation lies. When you grasp this process and consciously work with it, rather than grieving old attachments, you can embrace the surfacing of your deeper self. During this period, you can purposefully connect with the core truths within your existence. The third sign, an opening of perception. We now turn to something that may sound impossible if you haven't lived it yourself. As the soul readies itself for transition, awareness frequently starts to broaden past the usual limits of the material world. You may begin to experience dreams that possess a vividness surpassing your conscious moments. Dreams encountering departed loved ones, who seem to ready you for something ahead. Or dream of locales that offer a sense of belonging unlike any terrestrial place you've known. Perhaps you will start perceiving subtle energies nearby. These are not frightening or disturbing, but comforting, as though unseen beings are drawing near, offering solace for the path ahead. Many individuals report a sudden heightening of their intuitive capacities, an intuitive awareness of things that seem to lie beyond ordinary comprehension, a deeper resonance with the emotions experienced by others, receiving clear perceptions about individuals or events that frequently prove to be remarkably true. Some individuals encounter what might be termed fleeting glimpses into other dimensions. These are instances where the subtle boundary between different realms appears to grow permeable, allowing a perception of realities typically out of reach. This is not a figment of the imagination, nor is it an indication of any mental disturbance. Rather, this is the awareness itself beginning to resonate at frequencies more aligned with its innate being. These are vibratory rates that transcend the ordinary filtering capacities of the physical brain. Visualize it in this manner. For much of your journey, your inner awareness has been channeled through the confined aperture of physical perception. Yet, as the spirit readies itself for its next phase, this focused view begins to broaden. You begin to discern facets of reality that have always existed, yet were previously veiled from your view. And this is the underlying reason for this unfolding. The realm you are on the verge of entering, known by various traditions as the astral plane, the great beyond, or the sphere of pure awareness, functions on these heightened vibrational frequencies. Your very essence is beginning to attune itself to its future dwelling. However, there is a vital insight to grasp concerning these indications. These broadened perceptions are neither arbitrary nor inconsequential. Rather, they are precisely orchestrated to ready you for what lies ahead. They represent glimpses into the reality you will inhabit following your physical transition. They are your soul's gentle method of familiarizing you with the expansive consciousness that awaits. If you have been encountering anything of this nature, perhaps your nocturnal visions have grown more vivid, you have sensed unseen presences nearby, or your inner knowing has sharpened considerably. Do not disregard it. Do not allow anyone to persuade you that these occurrences are merely products of your imagination. These profound experiences are sacred, forming an intrinsic part of your soul's ongoing readiness journey. And understanding these phenomena can help you engage with this heightened awareness, rather than shrinking from it in fear. Have you observed your senses broadening in manners that defy easy articulation? If so, share this video with someone who may understand. For without a guiding context, these internal shifts can often lead to a sense of solitude. Yet, upon realizing they are integral to a natural unfolding, your entire outlook transforms. The fourth indicator, a compelling life reassessment. This particular indicator manifests with such regularity that many individuals barely perceive it as a meaningful signal whatsoever. You feel drawn to examine your life. This is beyond simple recall or a longing for the past. It's a profound, nearly insistent impulse to scrutinize, grasp, and contextualize your whole journey from an elevated viewpoint. You might frequently ponder key moments from your history, the bonds that molded you, choices that determined your trajectory, missteps you took, and wisdom acquired. However, you are doing more than simply recalling these past events. You are examining them with a depth of understanding and a broader outlook that was unavailable to you when they first took place. This often presents itself as an unexpected urge to re-establish connections with individuals from your history, an impulse to mend previous hurts, to voice appreciation that remained unsaid, to seek or extend pardon, or to bring closure to discussions that ended abruptly. You may sense a compelling requirement to narrate your personal journey, to impart the insights you've acquired, to transmit the sagacity you've cultivated, ensuring that the profound significance you've unearthed in your existence continues beyond your time. This is not merely a coincidental longing for the past. Instead, it is your deeper self partaking in what investigators of profound transitional experiences refer to as the life review, an occurrence commonly associated with the moment of transition itself, yet frequently commencing many months or even years prior to one's physical departure. And the reason for this unfolding is profound. Your soul possesses an intrinsic awareness that consciousness persists even after the physical form ceases to be. However, it is also aware that the particular viewpoint you've acquired during this existence, that distinct blend of encounters, teachings, and personal development forming your singular path, holds immense value and is fleeting. Therefore, it commences the task of consolidating these moments, of distilling their core significance, of refining your journey's events into enduring insight. Yet, here lies the truly profound aspect. Should you discern this innate drive for what it truly represents, you possess the ability to engage with it intentionally. Rather than being propelled by undefined sensations of haste or sorrow, you can purposefully partake in the contemplation of your life's unfolding. You are able to connect with individuals who hold importance. You can mend connections that require mending. You can articulate affection that awaits utterance. You can bring closure to the affairs of this existence while the chance remains available to you. This is not about making ready for an end filled with hopelessness. Our focus here is on getting ready for a passage feeling whole, feeling serene, with the assurance you've gathered all wisdom and love from the profound offering of being human. Consider this wonderful truth. As you deliberately take part in examining your past, it isn't merely about getting ready for the end. It profoundly alters your way of being. This is because observing your life with such clarity reveals what is truly essential, what possessed deep value, and what merits your focus during your remaining moments. Should you sense this deep urge to reflect, to bridge gaps, to mend, and finalize, I encourage you to share your thoughts below, using the term review. This, you see, is hallowed work. It's a journey for the soul. And acknowledging its true nature allows you to engage with the respect it commands. The fifth indication, a gentle drawing homeward. We now reach what is perhaps the most powerful signal. This particular sign, once felt, removes all question that your inner self is making ready for the most magnificent passage imaginable. A profound, unidentifiable yearning for home starts to awaken within you, yet it's unlike any terrestrial dwelling you've ever experienced. It isn't a wistful recollection of your early years, nor is it a simple yearning for a former residence. This sensation stands apart, utterly unique. It's a craving so fundamental, so deeply rooted, that it appears to emanate from the profoundest essence of your existence. Individuals articulate this feeling through various perspectives. For some, it evokes a homesickness for a destination they have never physically visited. Others characterize it as an intrinsic pull toward an essence they cannot articulate, yet somehow instantly identify. And still, others liken it to the sentiment of a long-journeyed wanderer, finally poised for their ultimate homecoming. This profound yearning frequently reveals itself in surprising forms. You might notice an increased tendency to gaze upward at the firmament, irresistibly drawn by its boundless expanse. You could find yourself spontaneously touched by melodies, visual masterpieces, or nature's splendor, often to the point of quiet tears. You may encounter instances of such deep tranquility that they resonate as faint recollections of your authentic dwelling place. And now, here is the underlying truth of this experience. Your spirit is starting to recall its genuine origin. Not this material realm you've occupied for a while, but the boundless plane of pure awareness, your point of departure, and your eventual destination. For, in alignment with ancient spiritual wisdom and striking accounts from those who've neared the threshold of life, our earthly existence is truly a transient passage. We are inherently souls engaging in a human experience, rather than humans who merely possess a soul. As this earthly sojourn draws to a close, the essence of who you are starts to sense the gentle beckoning of its perpetual sanctuary. There is no sorrow in this, no trace of tragedy. Instead, it is the most inherently natural occurrence imaginable. Picture a child, having spent a wonderful summer at camp, now feeling a joyful anticipation for the reunion with their family back home. The camp offered delightful times and enriching lessons. Yet, your true sense of belonging resides within your home. However, here lies the element that renders this sensation so profoundly transformative. When you accurately perceive this yearning for what it represents, rather than succumbing to bewilderment or apprehension, you are able to welcome it fully. Allow yourself the profound peace from knowing you prepare to return to your true nature. A marvel occurs when you stop resisting this pull toward your inner home. You start to feel that eternal home even within your physical form. You begin to access the peace, love, and broadened awareness awaiting you. You glimpse your true self beneath temporary identities and roles played this lifetime. A deeper understanding. But let me address something that may trouble you now. If you recognize these signs in yourself or a loved one, you might feel afraid. You might wonder, is a passing imminent? Should I panic? The answer is simpler yet more complex than you might expect. These signs don't necessarily mean passing is days or months away. The soul's preparation process can take years to unfold. Some individuals perceive these indications with great intensity, subsequently living full, meaningful lives for an extended duration. Others might perceive them more subtly, over long periods. The specific timing isn't the key. What truly matters is your readiness. For the true essence of these signals is this: they are your soul's method of ensuring that when the eventual transition arrives, whether next week or perhaps next decade, you are prepared. Not merely physically or practically prepared, but spiritually and emotionally aligned. And this state of readiness does not imply a surrender to departing or abandoning life. It signifies approaching your remaining time with heightened awareness, a profounder purpose, and a more genuine link to what truly counts. When these signs become apparent, you are being offered a unique gift. It is the gift of conscious preparation, the gift of time to harmonize with your deeper truth, and the gift of opportunity to live your remaining days, however long they may be, with extraordinary presence and profound meaning. Reflect upon this thought. Most people instinctively sidestep thoughts of their final passing throughout life, only to be utterly unprepared when it arrives. These insights, however, present a different way. They offer you the chance to approach passing as a deliberate spiritual practice, not an unwelcome shock. And here lies the paradox. When you consciously prepare for this transition, you often find yourself living more fully than ever before. Because knowing this physical experience is temporary makes every moment precious, every relationship sacred, every experience a gift to be truly embraced. So, if you recognize these signs, do not retreat into fear. Instead, step into presence. Use this awareness to deepen your relationships, heal what needs mending, express what needs voicing, and become who you truly are. Should this particular way of seeing things be stirring something within you, if you're starting to recognize these indications not as mere warnings, but as sincere invitations, I gently encourage you to subscribe to this channel right now. The reason is that what we are uncovering here is merely the initial stage of comprehending consciousness, the act of transitioning, and the soul's profound journey. And I want to ensure you don't miss any facet of this deep exploration, nor the practical wisdom it offers. So, what exactly do you do once you possess this understanding? How might your daily life shift when you grasp the significance of these signs? Firstly, if you find yourself personally experiencing these signals, acknowledge them with reverence. Do not contend with the inclination towards quiet introspection. Instead, utilize it for deep contemplation and for enriching your spiritual path. Do not resist the gradual shedding of attachments. Rather, celebrate your increasing liberation from things that lack true significance. Do not brush aside broadened perceptions. Instead, investigate them with an attitude of wonder and receptiveness. Do not shy away from the contemplation of your life's path. Rather, engage with it deliberately and thoroughly. Do not be afraid of the deep yearning for a sense of belonging. Allow it to serve as a reminder of your authentic essence. Secondly, if these indications are surfacing in someone beloved to you, offer them support rooted in comprehension rather than apprehension. Do not attempt to pull them back into connections they are naturally releasing. Refrain from dismissing their broadening insights as confusion or unwellness. Do not prevent them from engaging in their journey of life review. Instead, participate actively alongside them. Assist them in bringing to a close what requires completion. Join them in exploring the new perspectives that are emerging. Thirdly, regardless of whether you are presently encountering these signals, allow this understanding to profoundly alter your approach to life itself. For appreciating the preparatory journey for one's passing can indeed instruct you on how to live with greater awareness. Begin now to practice the gentle art of relinquishing unnecessary attachments. Start to nurture moments of quiet solitude for profound spiritual reflection. Open yourself fully to an expanded perception and an awakened intuitive awareness. Consistently dedicate time to reviewing your life for deeper meaning and a sense of peaceful completion. And most importantly, begin to recognize that profound yearning for belonging that resides within every human spirit. This is the desire to return to your authentic essence, even as you continue to experience life in a physical form. These are not merely temporary preparatory exercises, rather, they are practices designed for the expansion of consciousness. They represent a manner of living that harmonizes you with your deepest inherent truth and your highest possible potential. And here's a beautiful revelation. When you embrace this way of life, the prospect of transition loses its apprehension. It transforms from an ending to be dreaded into a graduation to be eagerly awaited. It is not a failing of the body, but instead, the beautiful culmination of a sacred voyage. You start to comprehend that you are not simply a physical entity who might possess a soul. Instead, you are an eternal soul who consciously chose to undertake this bodily experience. And once this experience reaches its completion, you journey back to the expansive awareness from which you originated, enriched by all that you have learned and cherished throughout your path. This is the sacred perspective. Allow me to present a thought that could entirely reframe your understanding of these indicators and of life's ultimate transition. Consider if these 5 signals are not portents of an impending dread. Could they, in fact, signify something truly extraordinary? Tangible evidence that our awareness endures perpetually, that affection extends beyond every ending, that the very core of your being is imperishable. Ponder this idea. If our conscious mind genuinely concluded with our physical end, why would any preliminary stages even exist? Why would one's spirit commence detaching from earthly ties, broadening its understanding, and feeling a deep pull towards its source? Why would such a deliberate, progressive readiness unfold for an experience destined simply to be a void? The very presence of these markers indicates that consciousness persists beyond the physical threshold. That this transition is a threshold, not a final boundary. That a part of your being instinctively understands where you are headed, having made this journey in the past. This perspective fundamentally reshapes our comprehension, not merely of the final transition, but of our entire experience of life. Should your spirit endure forever, then each encounter within this existence, every happiness, every sadness, every teaching, every instance of affection, adds to your everlasting growth. No part of it is without purpose. No moment holds no significance. Every solitary point in time has formed a segment of your soul's progression towards enhanced understanding, deeper affection, and expanded awareness. Furthermore, if departing is truly a journey back to one's origin instead of a conclusion, then the indications we observe are not sorrowful. They are hallowed. They serve as proof that the cosmos functions with such immense insight and kindness that it tenderly, progressively, and caringly readies you for the most monumental passage you will undertake. Adopting this viewpoint does not render the act of transitioning as insignificant or effortless. The dissolution of the corporeal body, the parting from cherished individuals, the cessation of accustomed sensations. These are genuine and weighty occurrences, yet they are not definitive. They are not conclusive. They are components of an expansive voyage your spirit commenced well before this present life and will persist upon far into the future. Recognizing these indications allows for conscious participation in this journey. You learn to approach the end, not as a result of biological failure, but as a soul completing one phase of an eternal adventure and preparing for the next. When you truly grasp this, everything shifts. Fear becomes curiosity. Regret turns into gratitude. Despair melts into wonder. You begin to perceive your entire life, including its conclusion, as part of a magnificent design far more beautiful and meaningful than you ever conceived. This is a call to conscious awareness. Yet here is a crucial point to grasp. This wisdom isn't reserved only for those actively facing their end. It extends to every living being. Because whether or not you currently observe these signs within yourself, your soul is perpetually preparing you for the ultimate transition. Spiritual growth, ego's release, love's expansion, glimpses of your deeper nature. Each is a piece of this ongoing preparation. You don't need to postpone truly conscious living until your final moments are upon you. The opportunity to embrace it is available right now. You can start releasing those connections that no longer serve your ultimate well-being. You can begin to nurture the quiet stillness vital for your spiritual evolution. You have the power to expand your perceptions to welcome a broader spectrum of possibilities. You can regularly reflect upon your life, seeking its deeper meaning and a sense of completeness. You are invited to acknowledge the profound yearning for a spiritual home that resides within your very heart. And when you choose to engage in these practices, something truly extraordinary begins to unfold. You will discover that you are not merely preparing for a serene departure. Instead, you are actively cultivating a more awakened and mindful existence. You find yourself aligning more deeply with the inherent purpose of your soul. You begin to operate from your most authentic truth. You love with greater depth, you forgive with more ease, and you experience an abundance of pure joy. The very disciplines designed to ready you for life's gentle conclusion are precisely the same ones that awaken you to the fullness of life itself. This presents us with a most profound paradox. By consciously preparing for your eventual passing, you finally uncover the true essence of how to truly live. Imagine what deep shifts would occur in your life if you truly grasped that awareness is unending, that love is everlasting, and you are a spirit on a path, not merely a form moving toward its end? How would you engage with others if you knew your shared affection goes beyond physical presence? How would you utilize your time if you realized your true purpose is cultivating awareness, wisdom, and compassion? How would you confront difficulties if you saw them as chances for spiritual advancement, not arbitrary pain? If you are prepared to explore these questions, to live from this profound insight, share your thoughts below. Type conscious. For those committed to experiencing life and transition with deeper awareness. This isn't just knowledge. It's a call to personal transformation, the ultimate reality. As our shared journey concludes, I offer you the most profound truth. These 5 signals of an approaching transition aren't truly about an ending. They herald an awakening. They signify a remembrance of your true nature. They reveal that the physical world, beautiful and significant as it is only one dimension of your being. With this understanding, passing sheds its apprehension. Not that it becomes simple or without sorrow, but rather, it becomes profoundly meaningful. It joins a vaster narrative of consciousness, expressing itself through endless forms and experiences. Your life, with all its challenges and successes, its affections and separations, its moments of shadow and enlightenment, is not a chance event in an indifferent universe. It is a sacred voyage, embarked upon by an eternal spirit for growth, deeper understanding, and the ultimate expansion of love. And the insights we have uncovered serve as proof that even life's transitions, especially the ultimate passing, are enveloped by profound wisdom, deep compassion, and meticulous planning. Nothing within this vast universe is ever abandoned or forgotten. No individual awareness is ever lost or rendered purposeless. Every single spirit receives unwavering support through each significant change. This realization completely transforms how you can choose to live your life in this very moment. Instead of avoiding thoughts about transition, you are free to embrace them as gentle reminders of what genuinely holds importance. Rather than clinging tightly to things that are fleeting, you can hold them with an open hand, dedicating your energy instead to what lasts eternally. Instead of existing with a fear of endings, you can live in joyful appreciation of the magnificent journey you are presently experiencing. You are far more than just a biological entity striving solely for survival. You are an unending consciousness engaging in a temporary physical existence. You are a soul progressing along a path of deep awakening. You embody pure love, continuously learning to understand its own essence more completely. And this transition, this passing, is merely the instant you shed the garment of this specific lifetime and recall the expansive, timeless, radiant presence you have ever been. The indications we've explored today are not warnings to fear, but gentle invitations to heightened awareness. They offer chances to align with your deepest truth, reminders that you are far more than you've been taught to believe. Therefore, live with courage, love profoundly, evolve mindfully, and when the moment arrives for this transition, know it's not an end. You are returning home to the boundless source of consciousness from which you emerged and from which you have never truly left. This embodies the fundamental truth of passing. It's not the antithesis of life. Instead, it's life's graceful completion. It's the graduation every soul strives for, and discerning the signs of its approach is among the most sacred recognitions you can hold. Your soul inherently knows the path home. Embrace this wisdom. Allow its insight to guide you, and watch as this profound acceptance reshapes not only your perception of mortality, but also how deeply you cherish each valuable instant of your present existence. For ultimately, existence and departure are but 2 distinct rhythms within the singular, unending ballet of awareness. And within this grand performance, you are the graceful artist. Move with elegance, move with purpose, move with the understanding that each stride is hallowed. Every gesture carries significance, and every shift represents an opening to boundless love and deeper understanding. This defines your true self. This is the panorama unfolding before you. And this clarity reveals why apprehension holds no sway, and why there is only joy to be found, even when confronting our most enigmatic and transformative passage. Welcome home, soul. You've never really left.